All right, let's get right into it. We're going to tackle maybe the biggest question there is, and it's a mystery that's literally happening inside your head as we speak. Seriously, just stop and think about this for a second. You aren't just a machine, processing light and sound. There's a whole experience happening in there. It's like an inner movie is playing, and you're the star. But why? Why does all that electrical and chemical stuff happening in your brain create the feeling of being alive? Okay, so take the color red. Your brain can totally identify the wavelength of light, put it in a category, and even make you say the word red. But that's not the real puzzle, is it? The puzzle is the actual personal experience of redness. Or think about the taste of chocolate. Science can trace the signals from your tongue all the way up to your brain, but it has no way of explaining the pleasure you feel. That private internal sensation, that's what this is all about. So let's dive into that. This fundamental and, let's be honest, kind of bizarre fact of our lives. This constant personal feeling of just being. And look, we're not just talking about seeing colors or tasting things. It's the entire tapestry of your inner life. It's that rush of joy you get from a song, or that little pang of sadness a memory can bring up. Even the way a thought just flows together as you figure something out. This totally private, first-person universe that you're living in, that's the thing philosophers and scientists are desperately trying to understand. Okay, so to get a handle on this massive mystery, it actually helps to see how scientists break it down. They basically see two different kinds of problems here. On one side, you have the easy problems. And let's be super clear, they are not easy at all. They're insanely complex questions about the brain's mechanics. But they are solvable, at least in principle. We can map the neurons, trace the circuits. But then there's the other side, what the philosopher David Chalmers famously dubbed the hard problem. And this one isn't about how the system works. It's about why it generates an inner experience in the first place. Why isn't all this just happening in the dark? And there's a fantastic word for these internal experiences, qualia. It's a technical term for that what it's like quality of consciousness, the specific sting of a paper cut, the particular shade of blue you see in the sky, the warmth of love. These are your qualia. And the hard problem, really, is just the problem of explaining why qualia even exists. This is where things start to get really weird. To hammer home just how deep this problem goes, philosophers came up with a famous and, honestly, kind of unsettling thought experiment. I mean, think about it. You see people talk, laugh, cry, and react to the world. You just assume they have an inner life, just like you do. But you can never directly access their consciousness. You only see their behavior. So, how do you really know? This leads us to the idea of a philosophical zombie, or a P-zombie. Now, this isn't a monster from a movie. A P-zombie is a perfect duplicate of a human being in every single physical way. It looks like you, it talks like you, it reacts to pain just like you. But on the inside, there's nothing. No experience, no qualia. It's all dark in there. Let's really walk through this. Imagine a perfect copy of you is made, atom for atom. This copy goes to your job, laughs at your friends' jokes, and flinches when it touches a hot stove. From the outside, it is completely indistinguishable from you. But inside that duplicate's mind, there's no feeling of joy, no actual sensation of pain. It's an empty shell, a sophisticated machine just going through the motions. So here's the kicker. If this kind of zombie could exist, how could you ever prove you aren't one? You can insist, I'm conscious, but your zombie twin would say the exact same thing. The only thing that separates you is your inner experience, and that experience is completely, totally private. So are we stuck? Not quite. Facing this profound mystery, some brilliant minds have proposed some wild theories that try to crack the code of consciousness. Let's look at a couple of the leading ideas. First up, you've got panpsychism. This theory suggests we've been looking at this all wrong. Maybe consciousness isn't something that brains create, but something that's a fundamental property of the universe, like mass or charge. In this view, even a particle like an electron has some incredibly simple, primitive form of experience. Our complex consciousness just arises from these tiny bits of consciousness combining in our brains. Another prominent idea is integrated information theory, or IIT. It suggests consciousness isn't about what a system is made of, but about how its information is structured.
The more complex and interconnected the information inside a system is, the more conscious it becomes. According to IIT, consciousness isn't magic. It's a measurable property of complex systems.
But even with these fascinating theories, we have to be honest with ourselves. We are still at the very beginning of this journey. The truth, well, it remains elusive. In other words, we can map galaxies and split atoms, but the consciousness that allows us to do that science, it's still a frontier. It's the gap between the objective world out there and the subjective world in here. So what that means is that the simple, everyday fact of your own awareness, the colors you see, the emotions you feel, is anything but simple. It is a profound puzzle. And you are, right now, experiencing one of the universe's greatest mysteries firsthand. And that leaves us with this final massive question. Is this feeling of being you a window into a fundamental aspect of reality, or is it the ultimate illusion, a beautiful trick played by a complex machine? For now, the answer is still out there.